Welcome to Life as an NPC. I am Carbon Scythe, and today we're going to continue to play the ladder. In the last episode, we started off our life as Hannah Wright, which seems to have far more brain than I gave her credit for when we were playing Isabella. And so I really hope I enjoy Hannah, whatever. And yeah. And also in the last episode we did get a couple of jump scares. There was this awful painting, we had a nightmare, and shit attacked us in that nightmare, and yeah. And also we are putting Luke in his place. I hope we get to divorce him before he actually dies. Telling him that we would never want to see him again, and then suddenly he dies. You know, something like that. That would be cool. Yeah, let's see where we end up today. Let's go. October 26th, Wednesday. The past days had gone by a blur. We hadn't talked much, Luke and I, outside of necessity. In fact, we've hardly talked beyond the topic of acquisitions of property. Right, we have new journal and relation updates. So, Marianne, I assume, is up. Luke is down. Hehehe. Yeah, just the way we like it. And on our journal update here, 21st. Oh, we made quite a jump from 21st to 26th. Yeah, so all of this has happened. Here we go. Oh, that's how it works. So this was blank when we were playing Isabella. And we got this. But this, we get a full story here. So we still have something to encounter here. Here. And here's where we start with Isabella. Boom, 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 boom. And 25th is still untouched. Wait. Weren't we supposed to see something on the 26th? Am I dumb? There's something here, right? What the hell? Let's go back. Was it here? No, here, it was on the 21st. Okay, I'm dumb. During the open house, Hannah's pressured the estate agent to sell her the mansion. The Wrights also met their interior designer, but displeased with her husband's flirtatious attitude, a disagreement brewed during the ride home. Inevitably, they ended up sleeping in different bedrooms that night. Properties being the mansion, obviously. Everything has been so busy that I haven't talked to anyone outside of business, and it is just so stressing. So, one can understand my need for a good chat, preferably over a good meal. Oh, they are working, right. I can hear that. There's a lot of construction work in the background. There are times when any decent, emotionally healthy and socially capable person need a good friend. One who will talk to them without the conversation degrading or turning into an argument. Or borrowing a nearby friend. I have an interior designer under confidential agreement to listen to me. That is not how it works.
Higher! Come on now!
The place is bustling with movers carrying furnishings here and there, along with several trunks of personal belongings taken from our penthouse. I can hear Luke barking at them in the other room, making sure nothing is handled carelessly or gets stolen.
Careful now! I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings. Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
It is hard to tune him out. The walls did not do a good job of muffling him at all. But then again, it is Luke. I would still hear him ranting even if we were on opposite side of the mansion and I'm wearing earplugs.
I'd really like to thank you for inviting me to breakfast, Mrs. Wright. But I already ate, so I should really go back to work.
Nonsense! You arrived so early, you must not have gotten a proper meal. Our butler has made a surprisingly lovely bubble and squeak.
Bubble and squeak? What the hell is that?
Sit, sit! I'd situate us in the dining hall, but it is a mess right now. Oh, Johans!
Johannes! The man in question appears, ready with a tray as he starts to set the table for us. We sit in silence as we are each served a plate. Bubble and squeak, topped by a nicely poached egg with cherry tomatoes and other garnishes adorning the edges of the plate. And I still don't know what bubble and squeak is. Well, this very well could be bubble. But what the hell is this squeak? Is this the bubble and squeak? I don't know. A cup and saucer and a teapot with some Earl Greys placed down for Marianne, and I ask for an orange Julius.
How are you liking the project?
Drop that vase and I'll have your head. I know it's only an 8 million yen vase, but I swear I'll...
Wait, so now it is yen. They don't use yen in the Philippines, do they? Philippine peso. Peso. That's how you say it in Chile. Pesos.
Well, it's certainly a fun challenge, incorporating the designs of a Jacobean manor and the functionality of a modern household.
Yeah, before we go forward, yes, as I said, they mentioned 8 million yen. I guess it should be pound if they are in Luxembourg, if they're in Great Britain. But otherwise, I would honestly accept them using Philippine peso. That would have been perfectly fine too. But not yen. That just goes back to the Japanese vibe, which I was wrong about.
I have ideas I would like to suggest, by the way, about what to use the second bedroom for. I have been informed of your goddaughter and thought a kid-friendly room might be in order.
You read my mind. I was actually going to bring that up.
And this time I actually do believe it. Hana seems to be quite brainy.
Oh, that would just be so lovely, Marianne. That way Kylie can bring her friends over as well. And a good friend of mine, Rochelle, is expecting a baby. So why don't we think about putting a crib in there too? I can just imagine little ones running around, filling this place with the pitter-patter of their feet.
I kinda wanna save Hana now.
We'd have to make sure they don't trip and fall on the stairs, though.
We won't be able to finish everything up until after the party. But we'll have it ready by then, so that all we need to do is to move in the furnishings.
Yes, that's plenty fine. It's not like we're in a hurry to have it. And we wouldn't want the workers to disturb the guests or the other way around, do we? Just make sure it's presentable. You know, in case a guest snoops about.
Of course. As for the kitchen you wanted, I've already negotiated for the high-end stoves and the hot and cold drawers, so on and so forth. I've got a friend who was able to customize them so that they'll look like the counters we'll be replacing and fit the rest of the interior. They'll be bringing them in today.
Why can't you people do anything right? Don't drag it. You'll scratch the wood.
Excellent. But no, really, how have you liked it so far?
Oh, it has been wonderful, believe me. Everything is going smoothly too. It has been a long time since I've worked on something on this grand a scale. Nowadays, everyone is about condos and flats, living in the city where every room is an identical box.
Well, can you blame us? We're poor. Fuck you.
Believe me, this is very refreshing.
I mean, yeah, I get that you want this for your business, but you can't blame the people.
We lived in a condo before this, Marianne.
I didn't mean any insult.
It's fine, sweetie. Look at you, all frazzled. I was just pulling your leg. Luke wanted that penthouse when we got married, and you can thank him for purchasing this place as well.
And now that I think about it, an interior designer would not be for anyone like me. So whatever she's talking about is most likely correct after all. She looks confused. Of course, she has every right to be. She no doubt overheard me push the estate agent into the sale, making quite the aggressive offer. She saw me sign the papers for the mansion as well. She just had to scoff.
Don't be
I just had
fooled.
to scoff.
I'm just the treasury. I wouldn't be able to make a purchase this grand without his seal of approval.
I see.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
Yes, it wouldn't be appropriate to comment further. It is unprofessional.
Unprofessional.
I can't help but let out a deep sigh as I stick a fork into the dish. I didn't want professional. I want someone who will either agree with me, even if it's just for the sake of agreeing, or someone who will try to talk some sense into me. Neutral responses are so boring. There's no discourse in the middle ground.
The food is good. Best bubble and squeak.
Of course it is. Our kitchen staff only uses the freshest hand-picked ingredients. Only the best for the Wrights.
Mr. Wright is not joining us?
No, he is far too busy bossing people around. He even refused to join me for breakfast earlier. Hence, this.
I see. My apologies. I really don't know what sort of response you expect to get from me.
Just say it, you wanted a friend right now. There is a cloud of silverware as I slam my hands on the table. It is frustrating. I am frustrated. At Luke mostly. But Marianne's neutral professional answers are certainly irksome as well.
You're a human with feelings and opinions, aren't you? Don't give me this bollocks about being professional when we're having a nice friendly chat over a nice and friendly breakfast. I can only talk about interior designs for so long, and I detest one-sided conversations, Marianne.
Okay, she is being very forward.
But I really don't know what to say, Mrs. Wright. We were talking of no topic in particular, and...
Luke. We were talking about Luke.
About him not eating breakfast with you?
About him treating me as if I were some treasury.
I didn't realize that I shouted that out loud until it's too late. There is a stunned silence that settled before I slumped back into my seat. Hiding my face behind my hands, I can feel my shoulders shake. Breathe, I told myself. Calm down. But it's just so hard.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like he doesn't love me anymore. Oh, have I been so blind? Did he ever love me at all? Was our marriage all for the sake of saving his company and his wealth?
Yes, because he didn't ask you to marry him until your parents died. Oh shit, did he kill your parents?
Because...
Because?
Did I say all that out loud? Again? No, this is bad. Unacceptable. It has been rumored before, the real reason for our engagement, but if anyone were to know of this... Marriage is of necessity to carry on political and financial power used to be a common thing, but the Evans-Wright unions is the perfect happily ever after. Was supposed to be. It is true that we first met each other in order to discuss dealings, to make the then failing Wright Enterprise a subsidiary of Evans Incorporated. But I do remember being in love with him, and there were times when he said he loved me back, even if I'm not sure of what the truth is now. Either way, I do not want the Wright name or the Evans name dragged through the mud because of a slip-up. And if Marianne so much as talked of this... You wanted a friend, ask for her silence. Marianne is a good sort, isn't she? So far she has been reasonable and accommodating, even towards Luke's ridiculous requests. Patient and professional. Did it only extend to business? Or would she be able to understand that things like this are not as simple, not as clean as they are painted to be? Certainly I can talk to her. Ask for her...
I won't speak a word, Mrs. Wright.
Thank you. Oh yeah, she went up again. Big time. Oh, you had an equal Rebecca as well. Which you haven't even met yet. Okay, so this is neutral. You don't care for these people. But Ashton is down here already, and so is Isabella. Yeah, but Isabella is Oh yeah, and you had the ringtone. Isabella was flirted with by Luke and is a bad salesperson, so that's why you're low. So here at 45% is neutral or business. I like this. It's easy to decipher. I won't speak a word, Mrs. Wright.
Not only am I contractually obliged to, it would also go against my principles. This is no one else's business but your own, and it should be kept between the two of you. And whoever you wish to seek counsel from.
Please, Marianne. You have to understand. These sort of affairs, if anyone were to know this, they could just twist it and we'll be ruined. All I ask for is your silence on the matter.
If I am to be frank, Mrs. Wright, this isn't new for me. You aren't the first, and you certainly won't be the last to have complicated dealings. Unless what you're doing is illegal, I turn a blind eye.
Can I trust her?
If I wasn't in the same boat, I'd be trying to pry those secrets and gossip with you about them by now.
Well, I'm keeping that information confidential as well.
It's not like I have any other choice, do I?
Thank you.
We continue to eat our meal in peace, finishing the last of all the food and drink. When the door to the parlor opened, Marianne and I are just sitting in silence.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Is this going to be Zack? Please be Zack. I give him nothing but a small nod.
This was a wonderful meal, Marianne. You're free to return to your duties.
But then again, let's see here. Journal. When did they show up? They... Can't have been here, can it? Friday... Yeah, it was most likely here that they showed up. Yeah, exactly here. Here they showed up. But now it's the 21st, I believe it was. Can we see the date somewhere? If I go back here and close, will we go back there? Yes, we will. So we can't see the timeline like that. Oh. Holy crap, I didn't even see the letter over here. Has it always been here? That is fucking horrifying. It's a constant curse on our mind.
I must excuse myself.
It was my pleasure. And thank you for the food as well.
Making my way downstairs, I look back and see Marianne give me the nod and a small smile. That certainly put me in a lighter spirits. 26, okay. An interview with Luxury Living. Now let's see. So, okay. They showed up at the 22nd. And now it's 26. Okay, it could be Zack actually. That's today, isn't it? Oh yes. People had caught wind of our new mansion the very moment we left the open house. Luke had boasted he could acquire the property in no time and allowed a photo shoot for an interior design magazine to be scheduled today. Well, there were complications and it took longer than it usually does for us. Hopefully, I won't have any other unfortunate slip-ups with someone who isn't bound by confidentiality. The mansion ground has been one of the first things to be fixed up, aside from the bedroom. Although it's still a work in progress, it had a promising start, and I can already see the flower patches. Luke's favorite daffodils stands out easily, having been transplanted from the pots that used to litter the rooftop of our penthouse. Why, if the moving crew thought that Luke was being hard on them, they clearly didn't see the landscaper on his way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of their discussion. Yes, it is Zack. Yeah, boy. It is in the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. He is hard to miss, the hulk of a man that clearly did not belong, and the big backpack and suitcase he has with him makes him look much larger. It is a peculiar sight, seeing someone who looks like he does handling little, delicate things with such care. He looks up from the gardens and does a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am. Hope you weren't waiting too long. But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
You look familiar. Have we met?
I have a very wide social circle, so everyone looks familiar at one point or another. But one would think I'd remember someone who stands out like him. The struggle to recall must have been evident on my face as he quickly and kindly answered my question.
Oh, I was with Isabella, your estate agent, when she had the house blessed.
Oh yes, that's right.
Ah, that's a cute face.
Small world, isn't it?
Yeah, very small.
Should have known you were Miss Wright.
The one and only.
Oh, she likes
Welcome, welcome to Maison de Wright.
De Wright. Maison de Wright.
And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed, but it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product. Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
And I mean, that line, Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product. That is so charming that Hannah will just love him for it. You know, she will call him Zack, and that will piss Luke off so badly, because this mnemonic here, this mnemonic device, is just, yeah, I'm calling you Zack.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hannah, if I get to call you Zack, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright. Hannah.
Achievement unlocked, Monsieur le Photographe. Zachary approves quickly enough that I can, in fact, trust him. His skill with the camera and experience in this industry, at the very least. He is kind and courteous, listening and following as I lead him around the house. A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever we cross paths with them. I answer his questions to the best of my ability, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They are quite the magician's toolkit. From inside he has procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruit, lemons, trays with peppermills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains are brought in for a kitchen setting. For the bathroom there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things as well, too numerous to count, all in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture. But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
Oh, it better.
We go through the rooms, one at a time, although we first tackle the ones that the movers have no business in anymore. Ooh, that's pretty. The ballroom needs a little preparation with its grand design, although there is some trouble at first with a wide open space and the pictures being backlit. It is in the kitchen that Zachary props comes in handy, considering how Johans kept the place so neat and sterile. One can practically eat off the floor. Ooh, that's very, very pretty. This painting again. Do they really have not any more painting props in this game? We carry on, touring the house and taking pictures where we can, with exception to the rooms we have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek at his photos yet. Funnily enough, he is using a traditional camera. I didn't even know the film still existed. With the way he speaks, however, I can see that he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I imagine photography must be cathartic to him, judging by how at ease he looks while taking pictures. There are small snippets of conversations in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes far as to talk about these terminologies like shutter speeds and aperture when I ask about the technical aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it is made, much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas. But just watching someone passionately practicing the craft such as this is exciting in its own way. Going through the many rooms is quite the exercise for the both of us. Ah, look at that! Yeah. They are being very fluid together. Okay, so at first I thought that Isabella and Zack were a good shipping, but no, it's just Zack being charming as all hell. Despite that, he has been so nice, and I find myself putting on my best smile. But it is as if we're taking pictures in the foyer that evening, everything comes to a standstill for a moment. Just a moment. And had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't even have noticed. It's merely a split second when secondary rhythm is put to a halt. Oh, please no. His finger doesn't move to release the shutter. Yes, he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face. The gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shake and there's a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach? Is something the matter?
Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. Turning around though, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something.
And if you don't speak to Isabella about this, then you have fucked yourself. Very badly. Because Isabella has been very forward about the fact that she believes this place is haunted. And yeah, you even helped her bring a priest there to bless the place, and that didn't work it seems. So yes, talk to Isabella about this.
Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
I struggle to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back and an indescribable tightness around my throat. Everything stops. And everything starts again as I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We continue at the same pace as before, although there is an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line, sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so as I see his shoulder slump, and the easygoing air he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Films. Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really.
Well, what thing is it? Tell me, damn it.
People didn't like Blue Fonzie.
Blue Fonzie.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibi a lot more.
I don't know what Fonzie means, but I'm assuming Bibi means baby. It's Bibi. Blue Bibi.
Very funny.
Okay, let's check that out. Blue Fonzie, Blue Bibi. What do these words mean? Okay, so Blue Fonzie means dark blue. Ooh. Oh. and blue baby means blue baby. But yeah, dark blue. Ooh, that is a harsh topic, because in I don't know how it's in English or any other language, but when you use the N word in Swedish, you can also add the word blue in front of it, making it and that essentially means super blue, dark N word, a blue. And since it's YouTube, I'm not using that terminology. But yeah, so is that what that means? Dark blue, as in the... as I said, I don't know if this is etymology that words that make sense in English, or maybe even Philippine or French in this case. But it did ring a bell in Swedish. So I'm thinking maybe it rings a few bells in these other languages as well. But yeah, essentially that you're so black that you essentially look a bit bluish. I never liked that word. I've only heard it once when I was working in a pizzeria. And I just ignored that man and stopped working for him. On an unrelated note, I stopped working for him because I couldn't handle the restaurant arena, essentially. Not because of his old-fashioned views. He wasn't a bad person per se, but he held a few bad words in his dictionary.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Foncé is all about?
He hesitates. Well, when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spill it all out. Blue Foncé le plus sombre des noirs britanniques. And this, I would say, the dark hours of the Brits, something like that. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. French is easy, bruh. Hell no, it's not. He speaks with passion of one who has gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. And let's see. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. Okay, so British could be the blue, but the dark blue, yeah, it's about the black people. So, yeah. My etymology lesson made sense there. Why, I would have told him that he's an amazing speaker, if only I wasn't so engrossed listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and in the workplace. Lesser chances of opportunity and higher chances of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks, of people of color in general, still being treated like second-class citizens. Not to mention that your husband called him the N-word, ma'am. All because of the color of the skin. It is all just positively riveting and sad. It comes to a point wherein he soon loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he had just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion.
That it is. I mean, there's a few things here in life that I care about. So I have hard time understanding what people talk about, but I want to hear them talk about their passions because it means a lot to them. And that is amazing.
You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Oh, Miss Hannah, please. No, I'm not a married man.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
I want to say that I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. She acknowledges it. She is aware of it. Oh my god. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I would have fared with it were it any different. Would I still have met Luke, and would he still have loved me if I was any lesser?
What was your home like? These things you talk about, it sounds like you've... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around. But a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may be a slightly different story when you have personal guards and the stolen item is not a pencil but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
Yeah.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that...
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl, all dolled up and treated like fragile porcelain, with nursemaids waiting to me and hand. Wow, that's a sentence I never seen. With nursemaids waiting to me hand and foot, okay. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask for on a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents. Just goodbye kisses in the morning before they went off to who knows where they were needed to next. I saw them more often on the telly or in the papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big holes, but nobody in it. Not really.
Okay, I'm so going to try and save Hannah and Zach, because something I really want is for these two, even if they don't get together. And I kind of want Luke to survive as well for this thing to happen. I want these two to be friends, for him to show up every now and then just Luke becomes so goddamn racist that Hannah breaks up with him. And they don't have to end up together, Hannah and Zach, but they should still be friends after this. Piss off Luke and have him thrown out.
It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us. And there's a moment where neither of us are sure on how to go on from here. Things are gone a bit too personal, yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
It certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one. Just as large and extravagant, and just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengard.
Oh, she does say it correctly now. I guess this is something she cares about.
What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Never mind, I think she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah.
She doesn't
Boring.
want to be a spoiled child anymore.
You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, the darkest hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it. Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite.
People are shite. Best, yes, that's the one I'm using. People are shite.
Oui. People are shite. What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's being busy, looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such a crass word. But he recovers quickly, and after snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, Vous êtes belle.
Vous êtes belle.
You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies.
Oh, she is very progressive. Not like her husband.
Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
French is overrated. I mean, a Russian accent, that can slay anyone.
Oh, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry, but I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French
Okay,
cuisine.
so he is French.
Can you cook your best?
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
It has been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. Who's Lee? Oh, Lee, right. And although we've just met, Zachary is the sort who can probably befriend anyone. Yeah, I do believe that too. He's just a comfortable person to be around with. A bit too comfortable. The photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way, as we talk and laugh, I find myself getting a bit too close without realizing. He'll give me his strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agree to do his little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd. That is how I am. Zachary is the one that's being odd. Why? Anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there, a gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew and grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though. The only way for these two to become better friends is for her to respect him. That is the kind of person he is. He will not take greatly to having people have their way with him. So stop it.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Now let's see, how did that work? Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact on the matter hang heavily between us. Being told implicitly that I'm too forward is not common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. I was just going to be some harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No. No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first...
Oh, dude, you don't have to ask about that.
Not a one, man.
What? How old are you? I mean, Isabella is 21, 26, something like that. Zach should be about the same age. That's very unusual.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
Oh. We were supposed to stop this. I can't help it. I really can't. I'm going to apologize a lot later. Surely, by the catty smile on my face, it is obvious that I'm just pulling his leg. The laugh I failed to contain certainly gives it away, if it still isn't obvious. But still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly.
Oh.
Oh, Johans!
No, what? No, no. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man. I do not think he can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs. Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
Yeah, it does sound wonderful.
I can play guitar too.
Oh!
You can? Oh my, wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
Question is, if he is French, he was non-British, so he could be French. Are they gonna do the cheek kisses? Because that's a French thing. I met people from France, so yeah, that's a French thing. As a goodbye and as a hello.
A shame.
A shame.
I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Course, I'll even deliver them personally. Just, you know, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
As fate would have it, the very moment the words leave his mouth, Johans comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his brows, he has heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof. Danke.
Oh, it's German. Okay, so it's not Johans, it's most like Johannes. Johannes is closer than Johans. Danke.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, it takes a step back, safely placing him within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And, just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hannah. And you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods, and the grin on his face as we say our goodbyes. It's the sweetest I have ever seen. I linger, looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle. Backpack safely secured in the basket by the front and suitcase hooked to the back. I watched as he went down the path to the Anselm village until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. And I believe this could very well be the end of the 26th of October, but I am still going to cut off here for today. I am really enjoying this. It's not just a horrible horror show, it is also kind of amusing and flirtatious, and yeah. Let's go through the journal. Let's see here. Hannah met Zachary Steele, a freelance photographer from Luxury Living, an interior design magazine. Zachary was tasked to interview Hannah and to take pictures of the mansion and its new owners. What should have been a professional meeting ended up being friendly and perhaps too personal. Yeah. And yeah, I am very much enjoying this. Gives so much more. It's not just a one-trick pony, it's just some goddamn horror, you know. It is very nice. And I like it. And if you want to watch anything else that I've been playing, you can find it at the bottom of the screen. And remember, just because you're not the main character doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.